No, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell! How did I get into this nutshell? Look at the size of this bloody great big nutshell. What sort of shell has a nut like this? I mean, it's just crazy.
Good day. This is Al Weissman welcoming you to another edition of In a Nutshell. We have a special show lined up for you today that I hope you'll find entertaining, fun, as well as informative. Last week we had a great and interesting show featuring Kai Kublins, a visitor to our country from Germany, spending 90 days here on a visitor visa. He shared some interesting thoughts, opinions, and perspectives on things, many of which require the point of view of someone from outside of the United States. So I just wanted to say thank you again to Kai Kublins, and we wish you a pleasant experience during the balance of your visit in our country. Ordinarily, I would play the Beatles doing one of their own songs in German for Kai right now, but we do have visitors waiting in the studio, and I don't want to be rude, so I'm going to forego the German version of the Beatles for the moment. Maybe we'll get back to it later in the show if opportunity presents itself. In today's show, we're going to take an up-close and personal look at country music. There are many people who have a variety of opinions as to the state of health of country music in the United States. Well, I'm here to tell you that country music is alive and well and living in Lake County, Illinois. On today's show, we're going to visit with MandyZ of MandyZ and Rural Route One. Also visiting us in the studio will be Bob and Tom, a couple of the members of Rural Route One, the group with which Mandy performs. So we should have some fun with them. In addition, I received some CDs from Pete Groach near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Greg Garanori of Mundelein, Illinois, so we hopefully will have some time to listen to a sample of each of their work. Also, Andy of Round Lake sent me a request that we'll try to squeeze in today's show, but Andy, in all honesty, if it looks like it's going to be a tough squeeze, I may have to hold off on it until next week, and the same thing is true for the other CDs that were sent in. So it looks to me like, in the inimitable words of Dolly Parton when she burst out of her dress at the CMAs, we're going to be trying to shove 100 pounds of stuff in a 10-pound sack today, and right now I'm going to give you a taste of what we are doing here today. Here's a tune by MandyZ and Rural Route One.
Yes, ma'am. He met me in a honky-tonk. I'm sure I'm not the kind of girl you want your son to want. Yes, ma'am. I know you'll think that it's all wrong, and if he felt the way you do, I'd go back where I belong. I know he deserves the best, and there's better girls than me. I don't want to quarrel with you, but I love him, can't you see? Yes, ma'am. Met me where the lights are low. I've seen the other side of town where good girls shouldn't go. And there's better girls than me. Please don't quarrel with me. I love him, can't you see? Yes, ma'am. I partied with the crazy crowd, but someone like your loving son helped to show me how. Someone like your loving son helped to show me how.
Al Weissman in a nutshell. And that was MandyZ and Rural Route One. And I'd like to introduce our guests one at a time. Mandy, could you please tell everybody your name and a little something maybe about yourself?
Well, hello. Thank you for having us. This is MandyZ, and a little bit about myself. I'm from here in Lake County, but originally from about 60 miles south of Chicago. And I'm here with two of the guys in the band, Tom Collins from Waukegan and Bob Lindsley from Wonder Lake.
Okay, Tom, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Say howdy.
Yeah, hey. I am Tom. I play guitar with Mandy. Been in the band since May. Interesting fact, I was actually discovered by the bass player, Jim, who could not join us today. playing out at AJ's in Round Lake on an open night.
You gotta talk right into the mic.
Open mic night. I was invited to rehearse, and then 2 weeks later, I was actually playing with the band at BB King's in Nashville.
Cool.
So,
hey, if your number's up, you're in, man. That's all there is to it.
what a way to get into it.
And Bob, can you tell us, what's your last name, Bob?
Lindsley.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about yourself, but you got to talk right into the mic.
Okay. I'm Bob Lindsley. I'm the drummer for MandyZ Rural Route One. I've been with her for 5 years. Started the band with her, actually. And I'm from Wonder Lake.
Okay, welcome to the show, to all three of you.
Thank you.
And now I'm pretty sure that you, Mandy, you've been in the entertainment business since you were something like 4 years old, because it seems like I found a video of you online singing something when you were about that age. Is there any truth to that?
Lord help us all. Yes, there is. Yes.
That was you. You admit to that.
Yes, that was me with the bad curly hair.
Well, that was cool, though. That was nice. What else can you tell us about your childhood singing or instrumental experiences?
Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, so that video is very, very true. My first time on stage, I was actually 5. And I grew up like any other kid in a small town, dancing to 45s on my play school record player. Mm-hmm. And we joke that I was in the bassinet dancing to Waylon, because my mom used to play Waylon Jennings on the record player.
Good choice.
And then when I was 10, I began a band with my 3 neighbors, the dad and the 2 daughters. And by the time I was 13, it was a 9-piece country band out in Will County.
Isn't there rather precocious for a 10-year-old to start a band?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. It's what you do.
Okay.
Keeps you out of trouble.
That's true.
Yeah, so by the time I was 13, it was a 9-piece country band, and grew up with them, and left the band when I was 17. And kind of went out and started doing my own thing, went to Nashville, and yeah.
Really?
Yep, and here we are.
I guess you got to go to Nashville if you're going to be a country singer.
2 years later.
How old are you now?
21. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm 33.
Okay. All right. And Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experiences growing up with music.
Well, I've been drumming for about 55 years. I'm 58 years old.
Okay.
Started out listening to my parents' 78s, and I heard Gene Krupa.
Okay.
I said, I want to be a drummer.
There you go.
And I played in a lot of different bands. I played with Ray Price.
Okay.
I've played with Jump in the Saddle of the Curly Shuffle fame.
Okay.
And just a lot of bands around here. I lived in Nashville for a while also, and played with some Nashville bands. That's when I played with Ray Price.
Okay.
And now I'm with Mandy, and we're playing here, So.
And you play the drums?
Yeah, I play drums.
Okay. All right. And Tom Collins, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sir. I've been playing guitar for the better part of 10 years.
Okay.
And always been really into rock music, especially things that are, at least one point in time, experimental, like whether it be Jimi Hendrix, or things like the Grateful Dead, jazz, things like that.
Okay.
So I have a pretty diverse background, and for me, it really just comes from the love of guitar, and I was fortunate enough to get involved with Mandy, and it's been a heck of an experience so far. I can't say enough about how much I've learned, how far I've come, and we're having a great time every single time we go out. So.
What converted you to country?
Well, I've always played a little bit of bluegrass, a little bit of country.
Okay.
And as you know, rock, even the British invasion, things like that, it's just seeped in country. So
sure.
I never really said, I'm going to be a country music player, but it just kind of lent itself to a natural progression for me. And it's really opened up a whole new world of music for me. So I'm just growing into it, and, well, I absolutely love it.
It's interesting that you should mention that, because I go online, I listen to music quite a bit, and I ran across a recording by Keith Richards and Norah Jones doing Love Hurts. And that was like the last thing I expected. Although, the Stones have done country, the Beatles have done country, everybody seems to do it at one time or another, but I just didn't expect to find that. So are you guys, any of you taking professional lessons, or did you just kind of learn along the way?
Learned along the way.
Yeah?
Unless you consider show choir professional
What's
lessons.
show choir? In school, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, of course, that's an involvement.
Yep.
You probably learned a lot from that.
Yep. My show choir director from Crete-Money High School is actually the show choir director at Mundelein High School now.
Oh.
And
You keep contact?
Yep, on the Facebook.
Cool. It seems like a lot of the kids that have been on the show that were involved in singing in high school keep contact with their instructors from high school, which is really cool if you ask me.
It is, because they play such a huge part in your life growing up.
Sure.
And I first met John Neubauer when I was 11.
Okay.
And was involved with him in his programs from 5th or 6th grade on. All through
I just
senior
met John
year.
Neubauer
No
last
kidding.
week at Mundelein Idol.
That would be him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice guy.
He is super nice. He's awesome.
He's going to put me in contact with some of the people that performed so that we can get him on the show here. You hear that, John?
I hope he's listening. He's probably at school right now.
Right, probably. But still, you might be listening. How about you? Any professional lessons or other involvements?
I started with piano. I played piano for a good 5-6 years. Some lessons there. Then about 13, I got a guitar. Started taking lessons, got off to a rocky start. I was playing a right-handed guitar at the time.
And you're a lefty.
I'm a lefty. I've taken the test, where you put one hand over your eye and which limb do you move first. I'm 98% or whatever, left-handed.
Okay.
So I was having a little trouble with basic strumming patterns, which is odd, to somebody who has shown some musical aptitude. And he said, "You're not left-handed, are you?" I said, "Well, absolutely." So we started by restringing the guitar,
Isn't that
switching
something?
it, and just kind of took off from there. Finally did get a couple left-handed guitars, and yeah, thanks to that teacher for pointing that out.
See?
You got
I don't
the
think
right
I would
tools.
have
Yeah, sure.
been a very good right-handed guitar player.
Oh, that's lucky. You're lucky to realize that in time to do something about it. And how about yourself, Bob?
Nothing really. I mean, I grew up through school, probably from 5th grade on till junior in high school. I was in bands, concert bands, marching bands at Deerfield High School. And actually, I got kicked out of the marching band at Deerfield High School because I was also supposed to go to a concert and do the concert band thing, and I kind of blew it off, and they kicked me out of the whole marching band and everything.
No.
So that was pretty much the end of my professional lessons, and then I just went on to learn by myself,
Marching band is kind of a rough deal, isn't it? You got to carry this instrument around with you.
Yeah, but that wasn't the hard part of the stupid wool outfits that they have you wear, uniforms in the middle of July.
Yeah.
You're just like dying, and you're out there and marching in parades and stuff. But I actually liked the marching band a lot, the formations and all that kind of stuff. But then I got out of that and just started like playing with garage bands and that kind of stuff, and hooked up with a couple guys, and we started doing some country stuff, and then we ended up going out to this place, and it used to be out in Prairie View called the Country Music Inn, out of Aptekissick and Milwaukee Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I saw this band called Rio Grande. And Rio Grande is the band that turned into Jump in the Saddle. And then I started running sound for them, because I even run sound for our band now, and lights and that kind of stuff. And I started running sound for them for about a year. I did it for free just to get the experience. And then when they needed a drummer, I tried out for them and got into the band, and then the rest is history.
Cool. Very cool. Nice story. Oh, well, would you guys like to lay one on us?
Sure. Yeah, we could do that.
We could talk some more, but in the meantime, let's hear a sample of your wares.
Our pleasure.
Let's do Honky Tonk Blues. We're going to do one of my favorite Hank songs.
Cool.
shoes underneath my arm and scat right back to my pappy's farm and lose these honky-tonk blues. Oh, the honky-tonk blues. Oh, Lord, I got the honky-tonk blues. I said, Lord, I got the honky-tonk blues.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was great.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, that was really nice.
Thank you so much.
I got to be honest. I really enjoy country music, but I also enjoy rock and pop. But when I was younger, I really didn't dig country music. In fact, I really almost hated country music. And it really wasn't until, maybe the last 10 years or so that I started developing a real... I like the twang in it. I think I always liked the twang in it, but I don't know what it was about the music that just didn't do it for me. But I'll tell you the truth, the last 10 years I've come into country, and I love that stuff. I really, really, I do. I've done it on a lot of different shows. We've talked about Is Country Dead, and current country performers that you'll see if you go to venues over the summer or whatever. And I really, really enjoy it.
That's fantastic. Country music is an umbrella when you say country music. It's a huge canopy, and then underneath it, there's honky-tonk, and there is your traditional country music, Hank
swing.
and Western swing. There's
Bluegrass. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And quite honestly, country music, it's three chords and the truth. That's what I say. And it's no different than blues. Everything stems from somewhere. If you listen to a lot of the rock and roll, you're going to hear, some of the same stuff. It's just, the style and how it's played. But
Sure.
When people say country music, that's one of the things that we hear at our shows is there are people out there that come to our shows that have bought our music, and they'll tell you straight out, you know what, we're not country music fans, but we dig you guys. This is really cool. And I think that's awesome, and it's cool to hear that feedback from people that don't necessarily like yourself. You said you kind of hated country music before.
Mm-hmm.
But once you really stop and listen to it, it's all different.
Yeah, it's very true. Very, very true.
Well, it's not that crying your beer stuff. I think that's probably maybe the words or something were what you didn't dig.
That's true. We used to listen to Patsy Cline, and how about every relationship that she had just fell to pieces. And
Yeah,
we went to visit Graceland about 88, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
First time we went there, and we took Patsy Cline. We took a couple of other country western albums with us to set the mood in the car. On the way down, and it was all this bummer stuff. It was like, how can people live like that? You just wonder what, that's miserable. But really, I've even come to, I love Patsy Cline. I mean, I tell you the truth, she's great. Some of these other performers, and modernly, it doesn't seem like it's focusing so much on relationships that fall apart. But, there's a lot of upbeat country music out there, which, I'm not knocking the other. They both have their place, and they're both good. But, I appreciate what you said there. Now the question that comes to mind is there much of a country scene around these days, or is it still pretty much rock or pop?
I think there's, around here anyway, there's a big country scene. There's a lot of bands up here that play country.
Uh-huh.
And I think country actually is like the new rock and roll. Because if you think about it, there is no rock and roll.
Yeah, I know that. I've noticed that a lot lately.
And
there's a lot of folk music out there. There's a lot of pop music out there.
right.
But as far as rock and roll goes, it just doesn't seem to be as prominent as it once was.
I think country, well, what did Tom Petty say? He said country is rock with a bad fiddle. And I kind of agree with that.
You got to talk right into the
With a
mic or they're
bad
not going to
fiddle.
hear you.
With
What?
bad fiddle.
Bad means good,
Country is rock and roll with bad fiddle. And
when I did I do a little poetry explication from every now and again. I pick a song, and I really get into the meaning behind the song. And we did Mean Woman Blues with and I just didn't really realize that when Orbison was talking about mean women blues, he was talking about really cool, foxy,
Yep.
women.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot.
Oh,
But
yeah.
bad means good, and
Bad means good, yeah.
Yeah.
and violin is really one of my favorite instruments.
Yeah, the country music scene, it was really interesting. I moved up here to Lake County 7 years ago.
Okay.
And honestly, it was very, very hard to find country music up here. One of the first things that I did was I started going to open mics to meet people and to network. And it was quite funny being this chick that nobody had ever seen, and she walks in with a acoustic guitar to a blues jam, and automatically I'm a folk singer.
Mm-hmm.
And of course that's not what it was, but I will tell you what, it was very, very cool to be able to walk into these blues jams with my acoustic guitar, being thought that I was a folk singer, get up there and sing some country music, knock out a couple blues tunes, with people that are now my very good friends, Jimmy, our bass player, being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the music community as a whole, whether it's blues, country, rock, jazz, folk, anything up here, this music community is amazing. Some amazing talent, some amazing individuals, very, very welcoming to new people.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I can't say enough how much I appreciate that, as well as anybody else who's new, coming in up here. But country music in Lake County has definitely grown over the course of the last 5 years or so, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot of great bands.
Yeah, I know. The one thing that comes to mind is that you guys are hosting this country music open jam at the Firehouse Pub. Is that correct? That's tonight.
Tonight.
And so, what is this country music open jam? Tell me about that.
Go ahead,
tell
Tom.
Well, you know what? Maybe we should take a break
Okay.
for a few minutes, and then we can, really get into that. Okay?
All right.
So we will be back. We're going to allow the supporters of the station to say a few things that help pay the bills around here and exercise their rights of commercial-free speech. And we will be back in just a minute, so don't touch that dial.